Imagination is more important than knowledge. Albert Einstein. You're listening to Black Helicopter News on the Armageddon Records Network.
Hello, and welcome to Black Helicopter News, a talk radio show dedicated to conspiracy theories, UFOs, and paranormal phenomena. I am your host, Andrew Robinson, aka Zen-1, and we have a great show for you today.
We'll be joined by my friend Rich Rock and get his take on the issues. All that and more coming up next. And be sure to check out ArmageddonRecords.com, where you can find links to download and listen to the podcast.
I want to break free. I want to break free. I want to break free from your lies, your soul, self-satisfied.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
In the dark, where your eyes couldn't see me. Well, I had to follow you, though you did not.
So, some interesting stuff to talk about.
I get to see a little bit of life being up in Jersey City. So, you had your classic, I call him a chucklehead today. And he was trying to go around and couldn't figure out what his deal was, but he was yelling to people, that, he was going to hook up with them and he was going to get them jobs and he was the connection that he needed to be with. And so, I didn't feel any need to pay him any type of attention. So then the next thing I knew, the dude was in my face. So he was, obviously because I'm wearing a hat that has some type of significance of some things, he wanted to make the connection with where I was from and what I did. And then proceeded to break it down for me that, he said something about pounds he needed to move. My first question was obviously, why is he going to talk to me about pounds he needs to move? Just if we're just like hanging out somewhere. Yeah. But then, right, I mean, you just come up to somebody and say, And so then I said, well, why would you talk to me about that? And he said, well, because he said that, if I kept it low, that it was actually going to be legal very soon. I said, well, this is New Jersey. I said, I didn't hear any rumors of weed being legalized. So then I tried to cut it real short, and I said that, I kept it light. I said, I got to go get some chicken wings. I wanted him to let him know that I was down with the whole, African-American thing. And so, I felt that was light. So he followed me. And so then trying to still, work, listen, where can we be in touch? And I might have been comfortable with maybe, if he had a Facebook profile. Or I actually have a bootleg-ass email account that I give to people just because you can send me whatever you want to that email account. Don't mean nothing. So we
all got those.
We all got those, right? So now when we get up to where I'm going to get my food, he basically says to me, yo, man, you think you can get me one of these slices? And so then I was just like, I don't really know if you want one of those slices. I'm like, let's kind of take it over here, see what they got over here. So then my boy rolled up, and I saw the opportunity to weasel out of the situation. I said to my homeboy, yo, this is my boy, and you gotta talk to him. He's got some grand ideas. So then he started talking to my friend, and I slipped on out with my chicken wing. And then he walked by me 3 times trying to catch my eye. I just did not acknowledge him. I did not feel that there was any benefit to our relationship.
Yeah. What if he's a provocateur? Since you're dealing with higher up alphabet agencies in your field. What if he's some sort of plant trying to set people up to see if they are trustworthy material?
You know what, Andrew? I like that you took that take on that, because I told you. Did we talk about that? How he was saying also, besides being hooked up, he was like saying he knew the CIA and the IRS and the boo. And that did catch my attention at some point. But like I said, I got things that I got worry about in my life. So immediately, if somebody starts approaching me and telling them they're going to be making Girl Scout cookies out of weed and they're going to be able to market them and they wanted me in on the deal. I mean, why the white guy? Oh, unless maybe he thought that there was some money that I think he might have brought that up. I think for a small sum, I think it was $400. That was the beginning of when I just kind of, my ears flipped over and I just said, I need to be just kind of moving on with my business. But again, it might have been a big setup. Got to watch out for those people. Never know who you're talking to. Never know when you're being filmed or videotaped or audio taped for that matter. They could be getting it all. That's getting into the conspiracy theory of things. Basically, anywhere you go today, about 40% of the time you are on video.
Wow, yeah, I know pretty much everywhere there's a camera.
Let's say 30% though. Somebody told me 40. I would say that most people exaggerate to 10%.
Is the end goal 100%?
I'm sure it is, which scares me. There's things that I like to do in the bathroom that, I don't think that anybody else should know about.
Absolutely.
Even if it just means that I'm running my head under the water and then using the blow dryer to blow dry my hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like to know that moment is private.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
I agree.
What's going to be the limitation?
There needs to be some limit.
What is the real truth about aliens?
Here's the thing. If you really do your research, you will find out on your own that they're out there and you don't need the government to solidify that for you. Just think about it. Why is that? Why do we need the government to admit that there's aliens for us to believe? I saw a clip that was taken from the International Space Station that showed a strange spacecraft docking, sitting there for a minute, and then leaving, and they immediately killed the transmission after that. The astronauts, they would see lights flying around, UFOs or whatnot. They give it some other name, calling it debris, but it's obviously something. So they exist. Kind of scary. What do they want? What does the government know? The moonwalk. Some people speculate that when we went to the moon, they saw massive, menacing ships monitoring them, possibly doing experiments or mining on the moon. What does this mean? I don't know.
Here's the thing. We're brought up with a concept of God and something that we don't see but exists. Now, if you were to analyze it, and again, I consider myself spiritual, I think that there has been things that I have personally seen that I cannot explain. So now you could write that off like you lost your mind for that 10 seconds of your life. You can say, I really saw that, and what was that? Or you can just say, you know what, I'm just going to continue on my life and not really think about it. The thing is that I think it is actually more around us than we know. I had a candid conversation with somebody at a local tavern, somebody's father, who looked at me and said, listen, the aliens are there. Where do you think we get this technology from? Do you actually think that somebody thinks this stuff up just laying in their bed? He's like, no, these things crash and we steal their technology. And for me, I just think that there's been times where I think that there's someone there, or I feel something there. And quite possibly, they've figured out how to be there without us knowing that we're there.
I agree.
It's pretty obvious by now to most of us that there are certain people in the government who want to take away our guns. Our gun rights are in jeopardy. Now they can just willy-nilly ban ammunition. Oh, the 223 ammo for AR-15s is bad. I'm going to take it away by executive order. To heck with the Congress, to heck with the Constitution, to heck with the people. I'm God. I'm the dictator. I'm running a banana republic. I don't know what the guy's thinking up there in the White House. But listen, if you want to keep your guns and you want to maintain the ability to take care of protect your family, you need invisible guns, ghost guns, like the AR-15, the Ghost AR-15, starting as low as $499 at guns80.com. Go to guns80.com on the web, guns80.com. Look at the link below in the description box, link on there to guns80.com, or call 844-2GUNS80, 844-2GUNS80, or guns80.com.
experience?
While being asleep, had an out-of-body experience.
No.
Just because of our conversations talking about it, it's your typical movies that get into how people have been abducted and how people have actually witnessed abductions. People who are traumatized by these abductions that suppress it so heavily that they just can't live a normal life. But for me, there's some type of reality that we don't understand that exists between when we are awake and when we are asleep. When we are asleep, we obviously travel many places in our sleep, and this actually happened to me last night. In my dream, I actually knew that I was laying in my bed, and I knew my arms were at my side in my bed, but I felt as if something from above me was holding onto my hand and pulling me up out of my bed. It's obviously a very scary sensation to be in a dream world, but to feel physically like something is pulling you away. And the time that it happened to me before this, I felt like somebody was holding down my arms. In my dream, I was trying to lift up my arms to motion to somebody that something was happening. And I couldn't lift up my arm because not in my dream world, but in the physical world, which I soon woke up into, I felt like someone was holding down my arms. And so now, which I stated to you, that my girlfriend has stated that she thinks that she hears them talking, and more conspiracy theory, they blame our government of being able to make snow and make storms now.
I believe that, but okay.
All right, no, and that's, again, I analyzed
They had a
weather.
facility in Alaska, the HARP facility. They may have supposedly, I've heard they were shutting it down, or it's maybe shut down by now, but they were doing research in weather modification and manipulation. I don't know if they've actually used it on anything that we could point out, but
Funny that we've just had the craziest winter of winters here, which most of those storms have come directly out of Canada. The wind's coming down.
let me go back real quick. When you mentioned you were in your bed and felt like something was pushing you down, and you couldn't lift your arm, that's called sleep paralysis, and that's usually a prelude to astral projection. Also, I've heard accounts when attempting astral projection, mentioned they felt the presence of someone else there, just like you mentioned that you felt another presence, and the person said that they felt that presence, they felt like it could have been evil.
I'm getting a little bit of chills right now because the original, what I didn't give you the detail of was, with my arms being held down, was in my dream I saw my girlfriend and she wouldn't acknowledge me, and that's whose attention I was trying to get by trying to lift my arms to wave to her. And the reason why I wanted to get her attention was whoever was holding me down was not a good person.
What if you projected your consciousness outside of your body, you're astrally project, and you're just sensing your own physical body laying there?
Understand that we don't understand it all.
That is true in a deep sense because there is just so much information on every aspect of creation. One human mind can only contain so much sensory input.
Who's to say that if it is, there's somebody that can travel through space and manipulate time, and therefore say Earth is their sanctuary, that somewhere deep within some mountain range there isn't a hole in the ground where they've colonized and they have all of this equipment and things, and that's where they're operating out of.
Last episode of this podcast, we were talking about hollow Earth. One of my main beliefs is that the Earth is hollow with major entrances at each end of the poles, and that there is tall, white Aryan. I know this sounds crazy.
I like this.
Admiral Byrd is a hero of mine. He's a pilot, the first person to ever fly across the poles. Okay, there was a book, The Secret Diary of Admiral Byrd, was published after he was passed on, and it tells about how freezing temperatures, the ice, everything you expect, at one point, all of that cleared up, and then he started flying over lush green land, similar to Africa, flying over, and in that he accounted for meeting race of tall, white, blue-eyed, blonde hair people. That's well known. All you got to do is look into that. Now I'm going to connect that with a recent Edward Snowden document leaked from Iran. He basically corroborating that whole story, saying, America being controlled by the people from Hollow Earth. And it's interesting because Snowden has been giving truthful information up until this point, and it's interesting that Iran is saying this, and this is coming out. Could this be true? I don't know. I mean, it's scary if it's true, because then that means we have people dictating, controlling 2,000 years more advanced than us. And if they are that advanced, and all governments would know about that, and even if ours would keep it quiet, maybe a rebellious government like Iran would be releasing this information to spite us. So it just gives me a little thread to kind of think that this could be true. And one more thing, and then you can respond. And they even throw it in there. They're saying that Hitler escaped. He did not commit suicide and went into Hollow Earth from that entrance. The Nazi Party in the 40s was obsessed with the occult, sent out expeditions specifically to find an entrance to the Earth, to find these people and ask for their help to defeat America in World War II. Pretty wild, man.
That blows my mind, actually.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
All right. I don't know if I have an actual official response to that.
In the near future.
When you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball.
Alert. Security alert. This is Homeland Security. Analysis. Infowars building independent media operation.
We let the worst people get control and tell us that we are the ones responsible.
Prime directive. Discredit Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
A popular conspiracy theory talk show called Infowars.
Alex Jones is now in an Austin jail.
These people are assaulting us.
Targeting of patriots engaged.
They are never going to stop. They're never going to deviate from their program until we stop them.
Block free iPhone app at Infowars.com. Block free podcast and video feed. Imperative. Destroy Prison Planet TV.
You gotta set your eye on the enemy, not worry about what propaganda they put out. Intellectually, it's because you can feel it.
As man have our own concept of God of all of us. And we can all see certain things that would say to us, there is something beyond what we know controlling what's going on around us. So that's where, because obviously the theory of God is, it doesn't just come from just because somebody decided, hey, this is a great concept to think that there's some force out there that can see what you're doing and manipulate what's going on around you. Maybe things might line up a little better for you if you look up at the right time into the sky and say the right prayer. What if all the people that said it's a bunch of bogus stuff, Jesus dying and then coming back, what if somebody came from space? What if it's not God? What if the technology at the time, because, in other words, here you are with a person who died, they basically killed him. What if they're so far advanced that they can keep life alive beyond what we know it is today? Keeping their secret of what the truth really is. There's many reasons why our government likes the concept of God, and it's understandable because it makes people do the right thing. If we found out that there was alien life form, they're afraid that there'll be anarchy and everybody will just be like, there is no God, there is just aliens. What if it all somehow wraps all in together? If you believe that once it happens to you, that you're going to float up on a cloud up into sky and live forever, maybe that can happen. Maybe there's things that come and scoop you up, bring you into outer space, and you're the next alien flying around in a spaceship, living forever, therefore, because they have the technology to keep people alive forever.
Why does there not have to be a God if there's aliens?
People are so ready to find something besides God. What would happen would be the alien would be the next thing that would be worshipped. So in other words, you had people that worshipped cows. Or you have people that still to this day worship elephants. And who are we going to say who's right or wrong?
Yeah.
Just because we say that the white guy with the beard is the way to go, and that's the dude to talk to, hey, I tend to think that that's the way to go. That's also the way that I'm brought up. But the thing to me is that if we actually found those things out, and to me, there is a lot more depth to it than we could ever realize. The thing that blows my mind is, can't even fathom it, is space in general. If we went out tonight and the sky was clear, we can be looking at a star that is actually gone, but will still be shining to us for another 1,000 years before we know it's gone, because it's millions of light years. And so now, if you're actually thinking about something that could travel through space, what is time to them? How does that exactly work? Like with the movie, original Space Odyssey. Put the guy up in space. He circles around Earth for a while and then comes back and everybody's old and he's still young.
Wow.
Yeah, we just don't
say to that.
I know. The great thing about having conversations, like whether it be beings that come out of a hole from the North and the South Pole, which could entirely be something that is glossed over. Amazing that we really have no information about those places.
Yeah.
I know that they're basically uninhabitable, but they've made their holes big enough where they can tap into the internal energy of the core of the Earth and harness the heat and whatever else is down there. Maybe there is some type of lava flow. Who knows what they're doing down? Maybe that's how they're making things green in their area.
Yeah.
Maybe it's some type of greenhouse effect off of keeping things warm. Who knows? I mean, we live right here in New Jersey. Well, we know the beach, but there's people like that we go to school with that all they know is factories and dirty water.
Yeah.
And they think the beach is about 3 hours away. We're almost like aliens to them. I think that's why, to some extent, I actually have walked around with some people around cool that claim that I'm popular. And I think it's just that I'm popular because I'm so odd. Everybody's trying to figure out exactly what's going on. You know what? I think I might just start telling people that I came from a different planet. So that's that. Good. Well, I hope it's useful information.
It is.
Use
it's
it
very
as you might.
important.
Good.
This is going to help a lot of people.
Okay. All right. I like that.